Good evening, everyone. I have been looking over the essays, as y'all all probably have started seeing. I think I've got about half of them through. But what I wanted to point out is they really all kind of seem to have the same type of issues. So I want to point those out before you go in to take your next essay test. Really, what you need to do when you open up the test and start looking at it, you have everything really mapped out for you in the assignment, and you've worked on it in your discussion board post. And I know that I'm behind on those. Honestly, what I'm looking for right now is all about, are you checking off the boxes that you learned in 101 to have a strong thesis statement? A thesis statement is going to make a claim, and then you're going to say, you're going to give three things. How are you going to prove that claim? You're going to prove it through number one, number two, number three. One of the things that I saw on the previous essay number one, was that, and I know it can be a little confusing, several of you were using the three stories as your 3 points. And that doesn't make a thesis statement. You've got to have specifics that follow through all three of those stories, talking about the last essay, that prove your point. And then it was, what each story gets a paragraph. All of you seem to have a pretty good handle on that. But that leads to the next issue for pretty much everyone, and it's one I expected, honestly. Plot, retelling plot. What you do in 102 is you're analyzing. For instance, in Kate Chopin's The Story of an Hour, which was not on the essay test, but the first sentence says, knowing that Miss Mallard was afflicted with heart trouble. And you see I've made a little notation up there because I thought that was interesting. So when you're talking about Miss Mallard being sick and having a weak heart, what does that mean? Why is that important? It's important, first off, to me, it was the first impression that the narrator made upon his audience. So right off the bat, that's what he's telling us, so that we already get this picture in our mind of her being weak and sickly and not really enjoying life. So you've got to analyze. Don't retell what is already obvious, what the plot is. That's the big one, and that's something that you get used to the more that you do it. But you cannot, it's not a book report. You cannot tell the plot. We all know what happened in the stories. Why pick out a few things to talk about and explain how those tie in to the overall thesis that you have? Don't give a play-by-play. What you're looking at is specific evidence that prove what you have to say. And in that essay also, you were supposed to address theme. And theme is really one of the easy ones, theme and characterization, which is why we're starting with those. But theme is kind of like that, moral of the story, what I was supposed to learn. And I know there are a couple of papers, and because of the way this essay is set up, where you really don't have time to go back and review everything, a couple of you got to the end, and I could see that light bulb go on. So by the end, I think if you had been able to go back and revise, you would have felt better about what you were doing. So the key is, on the next essay test, is to look at your assignment. Follow it, because it's really, everything is laid out there for you. Have your book with you. And what I would suggest is having sticky notes. I did write in this book because it's mine. But have sticky notes on pages where, when you were reading and you know what the discussion board was talking about, and when you're reading, slap the sticky note on there or underline your quotation and write out why it struck you. It struck me that the narrator starts off specifically with this view of Miss Mallard. So sticky notes are your friends, because when you go to write the essay, your book is here, you can thumb through it and you can see which quotes that you can put in your essay. And that makes it go much faster for you, and the notations that you've made help you pull things together so you're not having to recreate from scratch an essay. That's the reason why this is an hour-and-a-half essay and why you're able to use your book, because I want you to learn how to use your book to find what you need. But there is prep work you can do in the meantime. And while you're reading, do that active notation. Also, read some of the commentary that surrounds the story. This book is actually a really great resource. So you are going to have to do more prep. And 102 online, it is hard because it's hard to figure out exactly what your teacher wants. This is everybody's first time with me as an instructor. So I expect all of us to go up. My video is going crazy on me. I expect everyone's grade to go up. And so I don't think you all need to worry. You need to pay attention to the comments and fix on the next essays. And I do apologize for being behind myself. I know I've read that several feel overwhelmed. I have felt overwhelmed too. But we're all in this together. We're going to be fine. And what we might do when we get to, I don't know, maybe March, end of March, is maybe go back and do a rewrite on that essay. So we can look into doing that later, because I know that first grade can be a shocker. It has been to me in the past. But do not despair. We can do this. Email me if you have any specific questions. The other last thing, right quick, since you are doing this as a Word document, there is absolutely no reason why you should not be spell checking and grammar checking. That to me is important. Those are tools there for you to use, and you should make it a habit of doing that before you turn it in. And also, you might want to take the time to read it out loud, because much of the time you can hear mistakes when you do that. All right, email me if you have any questions. I'm on campus Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and if you need me at other times, we can set that up. And I hope this video turns out well, because it's late at night. Bye.